I've seen men do a lot of different things to try to get out of paying child support, but what this guy did was especially diabolical. Welcome back to the Working Man Podcast. I am your host, Nicholas J. Fury. Like I said in my intro, I have not ever seen somebody go to this level, go this far to try to get out of paying child support. Now, of course, the standard things, men quitting their job or women, okay, taking pay cuts, taking lesser jobs so they had to pay as much, hiring all kind of lawyer teams and trying to minimize their finances for whatever reason, selling off property and assets and those kind of things. You've seen a lot of different ways that men and women, besides just outright not paying and, going to jail, trying to get out of paying child support so they don't have to take a loss on their own finances or their own way of life, their own way of living, right? But this right here surprised me. Now, this isn't an old story. This is actually a follow-up to a story that happened some months ago that was probably talked about on other platforms, other people's channels. But here you see right here from NBC News, this is August 21st of 2024. Kentucky man who faked death to avoid paying child support is sentenced to over 6 years in prison.
You figured me out. You got me red-handed.
Jesse Kemp, 39, not only faked his own deletion in state records, but also infiltrated other government and corporate networks and tried to sell that access on the dark web, officials said. He faked his own records to say that he was no longer with the living to get out of paying child support. And not only that, he also made committed some more cyber crimes, which we will get into here in a moment. So stay right there.
I think we ain't done yet.
A Kentucky man who hacked into state deletion registry systems to fake his own death in a bid to avoid paying over $100,000 in outstanding child support has been sentenced to over 6 years in prison, prosecutors announced Tuesday. Jesse Kemp, 39, was sentenced Monday in U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Kentucky in a plea agreement on charges of computer fraud and aggravated identity theft. In January of 2023, Kemp accessed the Hawaii death registry system using the information of a physician living in another state and created a case for his own deletion, prosecutors said in a news release. He completed a Hawaii death certificate worksheet, assigned himself as a medical certified for the case, and certified his own death using the doctor's digital signature, resulted in his being registered as a deceased person in many government databases, the release said. So this man essentially was able to hack into a state government system, fill out his own certificate of deceased, right? Find somebody else's identity to certify and sign this certificate, and essentially make himself, like I said, DOA in the system of Hawaii, and thus in the United States of America.
Congratulations!
Officials said he admitted to faking his own death in part to avoiding outstanding child support obligations. He owed more than $116,000, according to the sentencing memorandum. Now, of course, the problem with this is he's going to end up going to prison, and thus he will not be able to pay child support, not in the capacity that he would if he was living. And so this is the chance that he took to get out of paying it, and thus now it's not only going to pay 3, 4, 5 times as much because of arrears and all that stuff, because he's going to be in prison, obviously, but this doesn't go away. So even though he's in prison, whatever he earns there will go toward his child support, and whenever he gets out, he will likely have to continue to pay it because he won't be current enough to come off of it. And now his capacity to earn more money is now gone because of said prison sentence. Funny how that works, isn't it? He didn't stop there. Kemp also infiltrated other state death registry systems. By the way, you hear me saying death because I don't want to say the word because I'm afraid of YouTube algorithm. I'm already demonetized, which I'm trying to get that back soon. So you get the point. Private business networks and government and corporate networks using the credentials he stole from real people. Then he tried to sell access to those networks on the dark web, prosecutors said in the release. Kempf acknowledged having databases of personal identifiable information as PII on his electronic devices, including social security numbers and medical records, which he sold to international buyers, including individuals from Algeria, Russia, and Ukraine, the sentencing memorandum said. Wow. So this guy was selling information of individuals on the dark web to other countries. And with this information, they can, get out lines of credit. They can buy things in other people's names, because make no mistake, that's happening in the United States. They're buying land, they're buying up businesses and other things to give themselves an advantage, and they give themselves roots in America. Okay, so what this guy's doing was highly, highly, highly illegal. The damage to the state deed registry systems include nearly $80,000 in repair costs. Oh, wait a minute, where's my dollar sign? Oh, doggone it. As well as untold consequences in trying to rectify the networks and the harm to individuals whose personally identifying information was exposed, stolen, or misused, the filing said. Kempf must serve 85% of his prison sentence, and upon his release, he will be under the supervision of the U.S. Probation Office for 3 years. His attorney did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Now, this guy only got 6 years, so I'm sure he had to pay some type of restitution as well. So 6 years. He didn't delete anybody, nothing like that. What he did was a cyber crime, trying to get out of child support. So, he didn't get any hard time, but he still has to go to prison. Hopefully he'll get out early, and he'll have some type of probation. I don't know what it is, house arrest, halfway house, whatever. But this could have been worse, right? The federal grand jury initially indicted Kempf on November on 5 counts of computer fraud and 3 counts of aggravated identity theft. The Justice Department said in a news release, he was accused of illegally accessing websites for Arizona, Hawaii, Vermont, as well as the businesses Guest Tech Interactive Entertainment Ltd. and Milestone Inc. Carlton S. Shriver V, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Kentucky, called his plot cynical and destructive. Quote, "This case is a stark reminder of how damaging criminals with computers can be. I'm not a criminal. And how critically important computer and online security is to us all. I agree," he said. "Fortunately, though, the excellent work of our law enforcement partners in this case will serve as a warning to other cyber criminals, and he will face the consequences of his disgraceful conduct." Now, in my opinion, these guys, the prosecutors, the state, they're probably more upset of the PII and the breaking into these data networks than actually trying to get out of paying child support. Because nobody likes to pay child support anyway, right? But him trying to get out of breaking into these networks, I think is the federal part of the crime, which makes it more egregious. Now, him just trying to fake his own death to get out of paying child support, that's one thing, which to the state is egregious. To me, I think it's a win. I think City Boys is up. But to the state, again, it is a huge problem for the other crime. And I think just faking his death alone, he wouldn't have got that much time for. Maybe a year, maybe probation. He had to pay some back child support. But then he tried to sell secrets he actually did sell secrets to other countries, and he broke into very sensitive data systems. And that makes this crime, I think that's the meat of the offense, if you ask me. But anyway, like I said, I think City Boys up for a few days until they got caught. Now, that's an L for the men. But hey, if you think that paying child support, unfortunately, while I think is egregious, you faking your own demise to get out of it, I think makes the situation much worse. But hey, if you want to take your freedom and gamble with it, it is up to you. All right? Y'all got it. And with that being said, thank you for attending another episode of the Working Man Podcast. I am your host, Nicholas J. Fury. Let me know what you think about Mr. Kempf and his faking his deletion to get out of paying almost $200,000 in back child support and selling secrets on the dark web of other people's information. I'm sorry, that was over $100,000 and 6 years in prison. Let me know what you think about that, all that down in the comment section. And please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell on the way out of the door. And remember, gentlemen, please, reality checks are free. See you next time.